Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. It's time for another Nervous Guide to a show. If you don't know what a Nervous Guide is, basically it is the things you need to know about the show, whether it be about the theatre itself or the show's content and sensory warnings. Basically things you need to know prior to the show, and then we do a second video in which we review it in a non-serious but kind of serious way. So if you want to know all that's needed to know about the Kinky Boots UK Tour, stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So hello and welcome to another Nervous Guide. Like I just said, for most shows that I go to see, I like to do 2 separate videos, this being the Nervous Guide, like I said, where we talk content warnings, sensory warnings, the theatre itself, anything that I feel you need to know. Also you should talk about, for some reason, toilets and my seat view. Some of them are more helpful than others, who knows. And then the second video we tend to do is the review. I like to put it in inverted commas because in no way am I professional. I just like to see shows, and when I do see shows, quite a lot of the time I'm on my own, and when you're on your own you can't discuss it afterwards. So that's what this is. Okay, cool. So like I said, today we're going to talk about the Kinky Boots UK Tour. I actually went all the way up to Leeds to see the show. I'll sink that in for 2 minutes. Yeah, I am a die-hard Kinky Boots fan. Just move my head so you can see a little bit of artwork I've got on my wall. And when I finally decided, because as we all know, 9 times out of 10 I'm terrible at making plans in advance, and by the time I got around to purchasing a ticket to see this tour, all of Birmingham bar the 2 matinees that, or the 2 shows that Johannes doesn't perform, were sold out. And so I literally went down the entirety of the list of where this tour went, trying to find a ticket on a date that I could do, and just so happened I could find one in Leeds. So I took the 2.5 train, hang on, words, 2.5 hour train ride up from the Midlands to Leeds. I walked around Leeds, I stayed overnight, and I got the first train out this morning. I mean, why not? Why would you not do that? I ask you that. But as we're talking about Leeds, let's talk firstly about the theatre and about my seat. So I was sat in the balcony in seats F8, no, that's me not being able to read, F28. This seat, underneath where it says steps to all seats unsuitable for people with mobility issues. The stairs up from where you get your ticket scans weren't too bad. However, there was also certain spaces, especially once you'd gone past the initial stairs, and because I had to go around the back past the bar and to the other side of the balcony area, because I came up one set of stairs and apparently that was wrong, although it wasn't wrong because you couldn't do anything but do that. It got a little bit tight in certain places, quite like cramped. Which I mean, it wasn't tight and you couldn't pass somebody, but if someone was coming at you, there was the possibility of you having to kind of cling to a wall slightly because they were like full pelt. The same with the seat itself. It was comfortable. It was kind of low to get into, but once you were down, you were okay. And the one minor downfall I found was that once you pulled your seat down, it created a gap in the back of your seat, just about there. And when the people in the row behind you moved their feet, there was the possibility that you could get your back kicked, which happened to me a couple of times. Not like hard kicks, but just like they were moving their feet and I was like, oh. And yeah, the foot room wasn't vast, but there was no like of seats cutting into you and into your shins. There was nothing like that. It was a beautiful theatre to be in. I'm gonna, as always, try and leave a video of my view so you can see how stunning the inside of the Leeds Grand Theatre was. I mean, oh, it was so beautiful. But there were certain things about my seat that were different than I was used to, and I've just mentioned them. As I did say, 9 times out of 10 I will in these videos talk about the toilet situation. I can't for this show because I didn't go. I basically left my hotel room, which was 3 minutes away, with about half an hour to go. So once I got up to the balcony area and found where my seat was, I didn't need the toilet. And I knew that the queue, because the queue when I first came in was long before the show had even started, I knew the queue would be insane in the interval, so I didn't go. I just went back to my hotel. So there will be no discussion on toilets today. Why do I feel sad about that one? Anyway, moving on, let's talk the running time quickly and then the sensory and content warnings you need to know about. So upon entering our level of the theatre last night, there was a poster hanging out with a rundown of all of the running times, which again I'll try and leave here, but it might not be the best like sight. So just to run through, Act 1 is 1 hour 5 minutes, there is a 20-minute interval, and Act 2 is 55 minutes, so the total running time is 2 hours and 20 minutes. And boy does it run through like a flash. It's such a snappy like, I don't know if it's because it's one of my favourites or because I know it so well, but I got to the interval and I was like, wow, that was quick. And then same with the second half. It's very fast paced and it's like bam 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 bam, so you don't have time to think, and but it's just like over and you're like, sad. It also put on the poster that the age guidance is 8+. I don't feel like I saw that anywhere on the website should I say, when purchasing the tickets, but I'm not gonna lie to you, when I saw there was one actually available, I just went, take my money. So there might have been something on the website, but I didn't necessarily see it. And like I said, I know the show pretty well, so I was aware of what I was getting myself into. At the bottom of that sign it said, this show contains flashing lights including strobe, haze, confetti and strong language. That pretty much takes out all of my points. If you don't know, for me, sensory wise, it's loud noises, visible guns and gunfire, etc. And this doesn't have any of that. There is a moment in Act 1 where there is a little bit of a brawl happens, and somebody gets hit with a handbag, and then it starts the lander loader off. It's not a loud noise, it's nothing like that. I don't think it had what other productions have had previously, which is like a smashing of glass sound to start that little scene off. I don't remember there being one last night, but no real loud sounds. Act 1 did start very suddenly. Like, there was no warning. Literally the first beat hit, which was a loud beat, it's like poof, and the lights went out. I was like, whoa, we're in, okay. So that was a bit of a shock. I was having a lovely chat with the person next to me, and all of a sudden my heart was pumping quite a lot. I was like, Jesus. So just to warn you, if that happens in every venue, it's something to be aware of. And the only other thing I need to mention is the use of a confetti cannon, which happens at the end of the show, at the end of Raise You Up. And up, and up, cannon, done. Like I said, I was on the balcony at the top level, so we were far away from the cannons. There was no cannon loud bang sound. I'm sure in the stalls a little bit more to worry about, but where I wasn't really a problem. Which makes this video so much easier for me to make, because I'm like, there's nothing to worry about as such. As long as you understand there could be flashing lights, there's haze, etc. So yeah, that is pretty much that on the nervous guide for the Kinky Boots UK Tour. I obviously will do a review next, so look out for that when it comes. But I'm going to leave this video here and say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back next time, and also say as the usual, which is so long, farewell, and video, so goodbye. Bye.